Good morning. Today I'm using as my backdrop the capital of the United States. Now I live down here in Virginia, but I find myself often in Washington, D.C. because, as I said, I own a transportation company. I take people to the airport. We also used to do tours, not as much nowadays, but in the D.C. area. So I'm very familiar with this area. I chose this because this is the pivotal point where this this certification will take place. Obviously, if you can see in the background here, I'm not sure if I can bring it up, but anyway, they are setting up all the benches and the stands and everything like that for the inauguration in the background. So it doesn't look like anything's being halted or is any type of issues going with that. Now, as far as I've got a lot of things to talk about today. So if you got a couple of minutes and you want to listen, please bear with me. I'm going to break this up in sections and give you my synopsis on what I think based on my due diligence, what exactly I think is going on with the election, and of course, I know there have been a lot of rumors running around with Kamala might be in a position to where she might do a recount, things like that. Based on my research, I'll give you my 2 cents on that. Some of you may want to hear it. May be good news, may not, but I'll also throw in a silver lining as well. Okay, let me address this rumor as far as Kamala possibly entertaining a recount based on encrypted information in her concession speech and different things like that. I've looked at the concession speech, and I guess you can draw from it what you want. I personally didn't see anything in there like that that would lead me to believe that that is the case. Now, a lot of people are relying on background, as far as things happening in the background, the various intelligence agencies and things like that. Now, that might be happening. I'm not saying it's not. But it's been my personal experience with the federal government that they drag their feet on a lot of different things. And I have a couple of things going on myself that I've put in complaints to the federal government, FBI, and the state of Georgia, different things like that. And it's been months, and these guys are still, dragging their heels on it. And some have even dropped whatever charges I might be bringing against other people. I'll discuss that in another video that has to deal with fraud and cryptocurrency and things like that. But anyway, so my personal experience with the federal government is they take an awful long time to get around to something. Now, also doing my research, I looked at the various states and their rules for recounts, and it's coming very close with some of them. Some of them, the parties can't, and I'll come back later on with a list of them as to who they are. But some of them, you're not able to ask for a recount after a certain amount of days. So that's sort of concerning. So if this thing needs to be done, it needs to be done like prior to the Thanksgiving holiday, to tell you the truth, if something's going to come out. The request for a recount needs to be done then. Now, the young lady that I had pointed you to earlier, who was giving a synopsis as far as sort of running down what this letter says, and I put her information in a previous video, and I'll put it also in this video. I also have the main source, the website for the TikTok member, the main source giving that information, and also put that in the comments as well. So in case you want to go and follow either one of those, that would be that would be great. My only concern about the lady who actually put forth the letter along with these other individuals is that they've been complaining about this since 2022, 2021, 2022, maybe even earlier than that. And you see how long it's taken for the federal government to respond. As a matter of fact, I believe she said in her video that they wouldn't even take up the case. So, not to be a spoil, not to put water on this or anything like that, but just to give you a realistic expectation as to what might be going down. We all hope with this Hail Mary that Hail Mary pass into the end zone, that Kamala comes through. She's a smart individual, but she even has her hands tied to where she can only do so much. So, you know, there's that. But I will leave the information in the comments going, you know, to both these individuals. They have very important information to share, and, you know, you can sort of work it out yourself as to where you want to go with that information. As far as what I said in an earlier video about Donald Trump's plans, you know, I don't even give Donald Trump the credit here. As I said before, he's not the mastermind behind all this. He is just a puppet. He's the front guy. He's the actor. He actually puts all this together. And for people who follow him, they're just following an actor. He has a script, which most time he doesn't even follow. But his job is to sow chaos. That's what his job is. There's a lot more powerful and more influential and more devious individuals behind him, giving him that information, telling him what to say. Look, this constituency wants to hear this. They want to hear that. Go and throw this out. Go and throw that. You know, he's throwing red meat to these guys, and these guys are just sucking it up. They think that, hey, you know, that this guy's for real. He's some type of mastermind that's going to, you know, do things that are beneficial for them. But what they don't realize is that he's just a puppet by the ultra rich. He's a puppet by powers, superpowers behind him that want to make this country into their own image, you know. And it, you know, as I said, it stems from the ultra rich. That's where it's coming from. So what they're doing is they're pitting Americans against each other. Because as long as we're fighting each other, we're not fighting them. As long as the Republicans are saying, oh, those damn Democrats, and the Democrats saying, oh, those darn Republicans and their buttholes and this, that, the other thing. Well, look, you know, they're doing exactly, you know, chaos. These guys thrive on chaos. That's how they multiply, you know, chaos. And of course, good people staying silent. That's how they multiply. So they're pitting us against each other so they can do what they want to do, you know, while we're blaming each other. Now, some interesting things as far as silver linings are concerned that that are happening in the Senate is Mitch McConnell, which, to tell you the truth, the Senate and the House for the Republicans created this monster. They created him. They had an opportunity to take him out of commission by convicting him in the Senate. They didn't do so. They created this monster. But what Mitch McConnell has done, maybe he's got a change of heart. Maybe he's really thinking about the United States. Maybe, I don't know. Based on his past actions, I find it hard to believe. But anyway, they had a vote for Senate leader prematurely and through secret ballot. And their choice was Senator Thune out of, I believe, South Dakota. Now, supposedly this man is not a Trump fanatic, and that's good. Let's see how this works out in the Senate. We might have people in the House and the Senate realize, good people, I mean the House and, yeah, well, the House and the Senate on the Republican side, that actually care about this country and want to see it going in the right direction and want to have nothing to do with Donald Trump. I'm hoping that's a silver lining, because that's our only line of defense, that we get patriotic individuals that are in the House and the Senate that realize why they ran for those positions. It's not for their good, it's for the good of the country. Seeing this man as a threat, as he says, the enemy from within. And they block him at every turn. I'm hoping that's the case if he does happen to get in, but that would be a recourse. That's something to look forward to. Now, as far as Donald Trump seeking, or what's this, Mike Johnson, he wants to seek to change the Second Amendment to include, you know, for presidents to serve more than one term. I like to give Donald Trump the credit for that, but it's the people behind him again. They want to be able to control this country and make it into their image, so they want the advantage they can get. So let's get the educated, let's get the useful idiot in there, so this way we can work. Because, look, you're not going to, Donald Trump is not going to be controlling the government. He's just a figurehead. He comes out there, he says his speeches, some ridiculous stuff, People eat it up, but he's not the one that's going to be controlling the government. If he does get in, it's going to be the people behind him to make it into. Why do you think he is appointing all these crazy people for these secretary positions? He's doing that because he knows he's not going to last that long. They know he's not going to last that long. I mean, the guy can barely, most times, put a cohesive sentence together. So maybe by the midterm elections, he'll be a non-factor, but he will have planted his seed, and that's what we got to be concerned about. Now, it's my belief that with the people that he is bringing in, he is, well, not he, but the people behind him have a gross miscalculation. I think these people are going to serve to undermine what he's trying to do. He's going to get kickback from the people who voted him in. And as misinformed as they may be, they're going to be able to see through it as well. I got to admit that he has earned that label Teflon Don, because almost everything that has been tried has been either obstructed in one way, shape, or form through the courts, through the lack of initiative from the Justice Department, and of course this and I mentioned in another video, this Office of Legal Counsel, that a memo is keeping the Justice Department from prosecuting this guy. It's just ridiculous. He should have been in jail 3 times over. People think he's some type of hero. He's not. He's a criminal. He's been convicted. And people say, oh, the Democrats threw him in. Democrats didn't throw him in jail. It was a jury of his peers that convicted him on those 34 counts. It wasn't the Democrats that did it. Stop saying that. It wasn't. This was taken care of in a state courthouse where a jury of his peers convicted him unanimously. It's not about the Democrats. It's about right and wrong. It's about guilty and not guilty. It's nothing to do with any particular party or even our current president. Now let's go over worst case scenario. At least we can deal with that. Some people are looking at a Hail Mary pass as a possible recount. Based on what I'm seeing here in D.C., they're setting up to certify this guy, and they're setting up for the inauguration. As I said, something could happen, but it needs to happen quick. In the month of November, or this guy most likely will be certified, and he will be inaugurated. Now, worst case scenario with him. Okay, let's say he gets in. He will have to be able to confirm a lot of the people. Well, not him, but the Senate has to confirm a lot of the idiots that he's trying to get within his cabinet. I'm hoping that many of the senators and maybe a few of the people on the House of Representatives will fight that. I know there's going to be a lot of people who are against Matt Gaetz, and I don't think it's going to pass through I don't think it's going to fly through well, confirmation. It makes no difference with the House, but there are many people, I'm hoping, of good conscience within the Senate that will hopefully block that nomination. Who will come after him, I don't know. What they will do, I don't know. But Donald Trump, as I said, he doesn't have, I mean, the guy's going out anyway. People want to ignore that, but he's going out. But the only problem is that he's going to be cementing his legacy for these people, scrupulous people behind him, to sort of pick up where he left off. So that's what we got to be concerned with. Now, as far as a silver lining, I can't think of one right now, because we're all emotional about this, and I don't want this to be all about doom and gloom, but we have to be looking in that direction. We have to be able to see a world where Donald Trump, unfortunately, is the next president. But we can keep cohesive. We can keep in contact with one another. We can continue to spread the message. Again, I can't stress about doing your due diligence. Repeating stuff that other people say is not doing your due diligence. It's looking at the facts, doing your research, and then hopefully coming out and bringing information that is somewhat accurate. Nothing's 100%, but somewhat accurate, and that that you have your facts behind you. So we'll see how things go. As I said, if something's going to happen, it has to happen again before the end of this month, because looking at some of the states and their regulations for recounts, some of them are getting very close to their deadlines. Most before the end of November. So keep the faith. If this turns in our way, and it's a Hail Mary pass in the end zone, hey, I'm all for that. But if it doesn't, we have to be prepared to mount an offense against this guy. I'm not talking about a physical offense. I'm talking about a resistance in regards to not accepting the status quo. And if he goes out of the boundaries, which we consider, all of us as Americans know what is to be right, well, we need to speak up. We need to speak up, make our voices heard, and be prolific over the next 4 years to make sure that this guy doesn't run rampant. Again, I think he's going to be somewhat subdued by the midterm elections, because people are going to see what he's about. My only concern is the people behind him. If he stole this election and he gets away with it, wow. And I'm not saying he did, but if he did, and there's some evidence to point to the fact that it might have, there might be some nefarious activity going on. It has been going on. So again, I don't want to keep you guys too long. I've got a lot of things I got to get done today. I'll hopefully try to put up a video a little bit later on today, and to discuss more of what I figure out, or whatever's going through my brain. But again, thanks for listening, and I'll hit you back later. Thanks.